And now using Booleans. Okay, so let's go back into object mode by hitting Tab. Click on all these cylinders by holding Shift and join them. Okay, let's make sure they poke all the way through the mesh. And we're going to call these something. So this is how I always do it. Go into this box and call these buttonholes. Now in the heat of battle, when you have like up to a million meshes, it helps to rename these. That way you can find them in the Boolean operation. So now click on the button. Go over to the wrench. Drop this down to Boolean. Choose difference. Now difference, what it'll do, it'll cut a hole. Union will make these join with it and the spike will show up. And intersect will make it so it's hollow inside here. I barely ever use union. I barely ever use intersect. I always use difference. But you might find it, useful for the other ones, but not too much in 3D print, because if I needed a union, I would just leave it right there. So difference. And there's buttonholes. All right, now how can you tell it worked? If you hit Z, you'll see now there's holes there. Okay, hit Z again. In order to keep them there, you have to hit apply. And now if you move your cylinders, you're going to find that you have holes. Now you have a button. Okay. Now, unlike some geometry can be smoothed out and tweaked a little bit, but if you hit Z, you're going to find that what happens is these go all the way and connect to different areas of the mesh. So if I want to do something like this, let's say I grab this button and I did another operation here. So let's go into something like multi-res and subdivide it. Ew, right? So you can see that it concaves in. It's a big, huge, hot mess. It can never be fixed or repaired. So anytime you have a Boolean operation, the topology of the mesh is a pretty big, hot mess. Okay, get that out of there. Now, could you ever tweak it out? No, there's not really much you could do. You would have to put an edge loop in here. And if you can see, if I hit Control R, it doesn't allow you to put an edge loop in that area. So that's the cost of the Boolean. There's no making anything smooth or multi-res. But you can do wacky things like, let's say, if I had this button, and I wanted to perform another Boolean operation. Let's say I wanted to make a thin one. Hit 3 to get into the side view. Z. And I'll move this right here. Let me Shift D that. Shift D. So I'm lining this little dot up with the mesh itself. You can see that right here, here, here. So I'm lining it up right there. And Shift D. Now join these together. Again, hop into 3. Just bring this just enough so it's in the pattern. See how it's cutting or going to be into the button just a little bit. Hit Z again. And now you can use another Boolean after the fact. So you can keep stacking Booleans. But I would apply each one before you do that. So this one, let's call this button surface. Oops. And then grab the button, grab the wrench, grab Boolean, again, hit difference, hit Z. Now here's what I like to do. If I like to see what it looks like without hitting apply, I'll grab the button, hit Shift D. And Shift D will allow you to make a copy. So you got the original, and now this one, you can hit apply. And you can see now you have this. A little bit different pattern for a button. Cool. Now I made two for a reason, and in the next video I'll show you what that reason is. So please join me in the next video.